With the highly anticipated second season of The Mandalorian premiering on Disney Plus on October 30th, we thought it would be a perfect opportunity to launch our new YouTube-exclusive series, Pop Culture Recap. I'm Seamus Connolly from the Pop Culture Reference Podcast, and this is your pop culture recap of The Mandalorian Season 1. If you're looking for more Star Wars and other pop culture content, be sure to subscribe so you know whenever we post a new episode. That being said, let's get on with our recap. Full spoilers ahead for The Mandalorian Season 1. Set 5 years after the events of Star Wars Episode 6 Return of the Jedi, this series follows the initially unnamed Mandalorian, referred to by other characters as Mando. Mandalorians are a famed warrior creed in the Star Wars galaxy, renowned for their super strong and sleek Beskar armor. Some Mandalorians, like our protagonist, take an oath to never remove their helmets in front of another living thing. The Mandalorian is a member of a bounty hunter guild, which is run by Greef Karga on the planet Navarro. After Mando insists that standard bounties aren't worth taking, Karga directs him to a higher-profile job where the client only meets face-to-face. Mando meets with the client, an ex-Imperial officer with a personal garrison of former stormtroopers. The Empire may have fallen, but on remote planets, ex-Imperial warlords are still very much in power. While the client tells Mando he will accept proof of death of the bounty for a lower price, the client's associate, Dr. Pershing, is insistent that the bounty be unharmed. Dr. Pershing wears a symbol on his uniform, also seen on the uniforms the clones wear at the cloning facility on Kamino in the prequels and in the Clone Wars TV series. The client gives Mando some Beskar as a down payment on the bounty. The only information he can give Mando is a tracking fob, a beacon transmitter that helps bounty hunters locate their targets, and the fact that the bounty is 50 years old. He then heads to the sewers of Navarro, where a community of Mandalorians live in hiding after the Great Purge, where the Empire killed almost all living Mandalorians. He has the Mandalorian armorer fashion him a new pauldron out of Beskar, and we learn that Mando was not always a Mandalorian, and that he was rescued by the Mandalorians after his family was killed by battle droids during the Clone Wars. Following the bounty to its last known location, Mando meets an Ugnaught named Queel, who agrees to help him find his quarry and learn to ride a creature known as a Blurg. Upon following his tracking fob to its terminus, the Mandalorian finds he has been preceded by an assassin droid bounty hunter guild member, IG-11. Outnumbered and outgunned, the two agree to team up and split the bounty, and, despite IG-11's multiple attempts to self-destruct, ultimately are the last ones standing after the firefight. Inside, they find the bounty that launched 1,000 memes, a child of the same species as Jedi Master Yoda. IG-11 attempts to kill the child on the client's orders, but Mando takes out the assassin droid before he gets the chance. Now, the child in tow, we begin our adventure in earnest. Returning to his ship, the Razor Crest, Mando finds it's being stripped for parts by Jawas. Queel helps him bargain with the Jawas, who agree to return the parts of his ship if he brings them the egg. He and the child arrive at the cave where the egg can be found, only to realize it is also the dwelling of the dangerous Mudhorn. Things look dire as Mando is pummeled by the Mudhorn, only for the child to reveal that he has the Force, lifting the Mudhorn in the air and giving the Mandalorian the opportunity to kill the beast and take the egg back to the Jawas. Exhausted, the child sleeps for several days as Queel and the Mandalorian repair the Razor Crest. After Queel turns down an offer to join the ship's crew, Mando and the child head back to Navarro. After taking his bounty, the client pays Mando in a much larger quantity of Beskar, which the armorer uses to forge a whole new shining suit of armor for the Mandalorian. However, he refuses to take the Mudhorn as the signet on his armor, saying its defeat was not honorable since he had the child's help. About to set off in search of another bounty, the Mandalorian gives in to his guilt and returns for the child. He rips through the client's compound with flamethrowers and the elegant but deadly whistling birds, where Dr. Pershing is using a machine to extract something from the child. When Mando and the child are nearly to the Razor Crest, they are intercepted by Greef Karga and dozens of his bounty hunters. When all seems lost, the other Mandalorians from the underground community arrive and fend off the bounty hunters. Now on board the Razor Crest, Karga catches up with Mando, who shoots him and throws him to the ground below. Although it looks dire, Karga's life is spared by the Beskar he was given as a commission, and he watches helplessly as the Razor Crest leaves Navarro. At this point in the season, we get to see Mando and the child have some more isolated episodic adventures. First, in an attempt to lay low, they arrive at a village on the scarcely populated planet of Sorgon, after butting heads with a New Republic drop trooper turned fugitive, Cara Dune. Mando agrees to find another place to settle in a real "this town ain't big enough for the two of us" moment. Except this town is an entire planet. Right before he takes off again, Mando is approached by representatives from a remote Krill farming village being terrorized by a group of bandits. Realizing the remoteness of this village makes it the perfect place to lay low, Mando recruits Cara to come with him to protect it. Things get a little more complicated after the bandits reveal their secret weapon, a repurposed Imperial AT-ST walker. But with the help of the villagers, including a sharpshooting widow with a soft spot for the Mando, they're able to take out the walker and vanquish the bandits once and for all. Just when everyone starts getting comfortable and the child seems like he's found a welcoming home, another bounty hunter arrives with one of those pesky tracking fobs. Knowing if they stay, the attackers will keep coming, the Mandalorian and the child take off once again on their own. After the Razor Crest is damaged in a shootout, Mando is forced to dock on the Tatooine town of Mos Eisley, a wretched hive of scum and villainy, as Obi-Wan described it to Luke in A New Hope. In order to earn money for repairs, Mando teams up with a young bounty hunter named Toro Calican, looking to cut his teeth with his first bounty. Their target is Fennec Shand, a former Imperial assassin who they're able to apprehend with a little help from some Tusken raiders, showing that they're more than just a brutal tribe of attackers as we've seen in the past. When Shand convinces Calican he'll make more turning in the Mandalorian to the Bounty Hunter Guild, Calican kills her and ambushes Mando back at the repair hangar. Mando kills Calican, uses the credits he takes off his body to fund his repairs, and leaves Tatooine. The episode ends with a pair of boots approaching Shand's body, whose spurs sounds suspiciously similar to another Mandalorian armor-wearing bounty hunter who we previously saw fall to an uncertain fate on Tatooine in Return of the Jedi, Boba Fett. Could this be Fett himself? Somebody who stole Fett's armor, or another character altogether? Comment your theories below and we'll shout out some of our favorites on next week's episode of Pop Culture Reference. Next, Ranzar Malk, an old crewmate of Mando's, calls with a prison break job he wants to hire Mando for. Malk's team consists of Zero, a droid pilot, Berg, the crew's Deveronian muscle, Xian, a former flame of Mando's, and is led by Mayfeld, an ex-Imperial sharpshooter. Using the Razor Crest to avoid detection, they sneak aboard the New Republic prison. When the strangely familiar-sounding lone-living soldier manning the station threatens to call in a New Republic strike team using a homing beacon, Xian kills him gleefully. They successfully free Xian's brother Quinn, who has an old grudge against Mando. Working together, they lock Mando in Quinn's cell as revenge, but he's able to escape, taking out the other members of the crew one by one and locking them in a cell. He takes Quinn back to Ranzar Malk, leaving with his money, but having left the homing beacon on Malk's ship. New Republic X-Wings arrive just as the Razor Crest jumps into lightspeed, taking out Quinn while Mando still gets paid. Greef Karga reaches out to Mando, claiming that Navarro has become overwhelmed by ex-Imperials after Mando took the child. Karga says he's brokered a deal with the client, and if Mando brings back the child, he'll be welcomed back into the guild. Sensing a trap, Mando recruits help from Cara Dune and Kuiil. Kuiil reveals that after Mando's visit to the planet, he retrieved IG-11 and reprogrammed him to peacefully work as a farmhand. Despite Mando's objections, rooted in his prejudice against droids, Kuiil insists that IG-11 will only behave violently in the interest of defense and will come with them to Navarro. When they arrive, Karga escorts the party to meet their client, but on their way they are attacked by a pack of flying creatures. Karga is gravely injured, and the child is able to heal him, revealing a previously unseen power of the Force. Karga reveals that he had originally invited Mando back as a setup at the behest of the client, but after the child saved his life, he had a change of heart. They hatch a new plan to kill the client, with Cara, Karga, and Mando bringing the sealed hover pram to the client, while Kuiil brings the child back to the safety of the Razor Crest. However, before he can make it back to the ship, scout troopers kill Kuiil and make off with the child. The scout troopers are dealt with by IG-11 brutally, who protects the child as he rips through the town on a speeder bike, taking out every stormtrooper he can on his way. The rendezvous with the client doesn't go much better, and is bombarded by the mysterious yet notorious Moff Gideon, who kills the client and arrives with a battalion of stormtroopers. Gideon seemingly knows more about the characters than they do each other, including Kara's service to the rebellion, Karga's past as a disgraced magistrate, and Mando's real name being Din Djarin, a fact only stored in the Mandalorian archives. IG-11 arrives and the team takes the fight outside the cantina, taking down several stormtroopers before Mando is severely injured and they have to retreat back inside. In order for Mando's life to be saved, he would have to remove his helmet, so he tells the rest of the group to escape through the sewer grate and seek the help of the Mandalorians. Kara, Karga, and the child, unconscious after having to use the Force in battle, escape to the sewers. IG-11 stays behind, convincing Mando that because he is not a living thing, Mando can in fact remove his helmet in front of him so that he can be healed. When they catch up with the others, they find that the Mandalorians were wiped out after they revealed themselves to help Mando and the child escape, with only the armorer left alive to salvage and reforge the Beskar from their armor. After learning of the child's powers, she remembers stories of the Jedi, who wielded the Force as the child does, and against whom the Mandalorians fought an ancient war. She tells Mando that he is to take the child into his care, and that they are to be a clan of 2. She emblazons Mando's armor with the now rightfully earned signet of the Mudhorn, and gives him a new mission, to reunite the child with his people. Whether that means the Jedi or his species, we'll have to find out in Season 2. Finally, the armorer gives him one of the salvaged jetpacks. Leaving the armor, they escape using Navarro's underground lava rivers. Shout out Arms and Legs Gondola R2 unit, only for IG-11 to self-destruct and take out a battalion of stormtroopers that would have killed the others. When the coast seems clear, Moff Gideon arrives in his foldable TIE fighter. Mando is able to use his new jetpack and reach the fighter to sabotage it, causing it to crash in the distance. Finally safe, with the client dead and his issues with the guild settled, Mando leaves Kara and Karga on Navarro while he leaves on his search with the child. The last image of the season is Moff Gideon cutting his way out of his TIE fighter with the Darksaber, a mystic weapon forged by the first Mandalorian Jedi, Tar Vizsla. This is the first live-action appearance of the Darksaber, but the weapon has a long history in Star Wars lore and television shows. It has been wielded by Mandalorian creator Jon Favreau's Clone Wars character, Pre Vizsla, Darth Maul, Sabine Wren, and most recently seen in the possession of Bo-Katan, a Mandalorian warrior rumored to make their live-action debut in Season 2 of The Mandalorian. And that's it. We've reached the end of our pop culture recap of The Mandalorian Season 1. If you enjoyed revisiting this great season of television, be sure to hit the like button. It really helps us out. And if you're looking for more Mandalorian content, be sure to subscribe for our weekly episode breakdowns for Season 2, now available wherever you get your podcasts. This has been Seamus Connolly from Pop Culture Reference. Thanks for joining us.